Greetings and welcome to another impressions video here at Words About Games, and today we're going to be looking at Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. Aside from messing around a little with Yakuza 0 last year, Yakuza 6 is my first foray into the venerable series, with very little idea of what to expect outside of seeing brief glimpses of the wacky side activities that have become infamous to anyone who has heard of the franchise. I found myself almost immediately drawn into the game thanks to a compelling story, effortless yet engaging combat mechanics, a densely packed open world, and a game that knows how to let you have fun. Yakuza 6 picks up following the events of its predecessor, with series protagonist Kazuma Kiryu sent to a prison after narrowly averting a gang war. When he's released 3 years later, he finds out that his adoptive daughter has left the Morning Glories orphanage that they run together and sets off to find her and bring her home, navigating the world of organised crime he thought he'd left behind, as well as finding time for a spot of karaoke or setting the high score on Outrun, of course. Despite knowing nothing about the story leading into the 7th game in the series, Yakuza 6 is quite friendly to new players such as myself. While I'm sure there are nuances or callbacks that I've undoubtedly missed, the game does an excellent job at being a jumping on point for people unfamiliar with Kiryu's story so far, even though this is supposedly his final game in the series. I never felt lost or confused, which is a major credit to the writing behind the game. While this is in part thanks to the game furnishing me with all the information I need, it's also due to the type of story Yakuza 6 is telling. These are characters that have presumably been fleshed out over the course of 6 previous games, but the narrative here feels mostly self-contained, focusing itself squarely on protagonist Kiryu, his efforts to escape the Yakuza life he thought he had left behind, and his relationship with Haruka. While many games as long-running as Yakuza can lose new players due to years of necessary lore backstory, the very human drama at the heart of Yakuza 6 is easily understandable to anyone who decides now is the time to jump in. And while the game itself certainly knows how to embrace its weirder, goofier urges, the story it tells is a compellingly serious one. Aside from the drama of the main narrative, Yakuza 6 has packed its world to bursting with a myriad of side activities, from your more traditional games of mahjong to the more goofy rhythm-based karaoke or live chat rooms. Some of these activities are more successful than others. The arcades filled with classic Sega titles for you to play are a highlight, while the simplistic card-based hostess minigame is incredibly dull. There are also a ton of submissions, as is standard for an open RPG such as this. While the game is fairly linear in its opening hours, pretty soon you'll be bombarded with side missions to complete, whether you're collecting strays for a local cat cafe or responding to disturbances on the Troubler app. Much like the activities, these missions are entertaining, if a bit throwaway, designed to give you a break from the cutscene-heavy main story if you want it. No matter how you want to take a break from the main narrative or just explore the world, Yakuza 6 has got you covered somewhere. Doing just about anything in Yakuza 6 will net you experience points, with the game's progression skewing very differently from other games of its class. XP is divided into 5 different categories for things like charm, technique, strength, and more. You spend this XP like currency to either upgrade Kiryu's core abilities or learn new moves. Different combinations of XP are used for different things, allowing for a highly customizable leveling experience that constantly feels like it's paying out. While most improvements in Yakuza 6 feel incremental on their own, you can usually level up your stats multiple times, giving you a very tangible sense of improvement for your efforts. Everything from playing the main story to completing side missions, partaking in activities, completing challenges, and accomplishing milestones power your leveling in some way. Even eating food is a major source of XP. Most of this fuels your prowess in combat. Yakuza 6 pretty much forgoes gunplay, sticking instead to brawling action as you fight groups of thugs with Kiryu's legendary martial arts abilities. Combat in Yakuza 6 is relatively straightforward, and Kiryu appropriately feels like a badass, with players able to get through most encounters by simply mashing some buttons and sending enemy thugs careening across Japan. There's depth here for people that want it thanks to Kiryu's ever-expanding moveset and the combo-based fighting mechanics, with bosses typically requiring more focus due to their unique movesets and increased health pool. But most fights are easily solved by picking up a nearby bicycle and swinging it about until everybody stops getting back up. Yakuza 6 The Song of Life is a great open-world RPG that stands apart from the majority of its genre stablemates. It balances a compelling dramatic core narrative with a world packed full of weird and wacky side activities, simultaneously inviting you to enjoy the affecting and serious story, whilst also giving it your all in a round of delightfully over-the-top karaoke. with a very different and highly rewarding progression system tied to a series of satisfying combat mechanics that do admittedly skew a little bit too easy from time to time outside of boss fights. There's a great deal to enjoy about Yakuza 6. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. If you've enjoyed it, please keep it here at Words About Games. We've got tons of content, including our weekly podcast, more impressions videos, patch notes, and our weekly indie game of the week. We also stream over on Twitch at twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. And most importantly, have a great day.